What's up, Middle Georgia Dog Pound? Welcome to another edition of the Middle Georgia Dog Pound Live. I'm your host, Brian. Matt, Kevin, what's up, fellas?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
How we doing? Good evening.
Doing great, doing great. We're here to celebrate. The Mizzou Fake Tigers went down, and we got the dub. We knew it was going to be a struggle. We knew it was going to be a fight. Didn't know it was going to be as close as it was there at the end, but hey, a dub is a dub, and we are still in the hunt for the SEC East, and hopefully one more game, and we'll have clinched that and be on our way to Atlanta. So just a few housekeeping tidbits for you guys that are on for the first time. We are so thankful to have you on. We'd like to hear your comments. So if this is your first time, go to StreamYard.com/Facebook to give StreamYard permission to use your Facebook photo and name so we know who's commenting on the show. We definitely want to hear from you. We want to show your comments on the screen and definitely hear from you and what your opinions are on how the Dogs played this past week and what we're looking forward to this coming weekend. So we also have an email address. If you need to hit us up, you got a product or a business you want to promote, we'd love to do that for you. middlegeorgiadogpound@gmail.com. That's middle GA, dog spelled like it should be, DAWG pound@gmail.com. So, guys, got a lot of great things happening in the world of the Dogs this week. I don't know if you guys heard or not, but our Lady Dogs, the soccer team, won the SEC championship tournament. I was thoroughly impressed with our women's soccer coach, Kadani McAlpine. Did I say that right, Matt?
Yeah, Alpine.
McAlpine is McAlpine. He is the head coach of the team. Heard him on Bulldogs Live tonight with Kirby, and I was thoroughly impressed with this young man. I say he's a young man, but he's older than I am, a year older than me. So anyhow, he second year with the Dogs, and we have an SEC championship, and we are in the hunt for the College Cup. So had a little video that I'd like to show you of the game, and just to give you a little highlights of what you may have missed.
1 month ago today is when we played our Sunday. 1 month ago on the day. But I don't know about you, but I think we're drastically different. They're going to try to make this game chaos. They're going to try to make it a storm. They're going to try to make it everything that they think we're not ready for. But we're going to find joy in the storm. And we're going to play. We've got nothing to lose. We've done the work. This is all icing for us. And I like to eat. So, you know what we do? Yeah. Let's go.
Ball forward, Brown slides, and that space in behind is the critical juncture for Georgia today. Into the penalty area. Ball is to close it in! Georgia had the opening goal! And it's less than 7 minutes in! It's a curler lifted over by Brown. Franklin had ideas. Brown had answers. Top dogs in the SEC. Georgia, their first tournament crown.
Yeah, congratulations to them. First game of the tournament is tomorrow at 4. I believe it's on ESPN, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's on ESPN Plus. But hey, check that out. Kudos to the Lady Dogs. That huge accomplishment. Huge accomplishment. Well, Kevin, you were at the game on Saturday. Bring us up to speed of what we saw, man. I know that there was some officiating woes that was aggravating both sides, but how was the atmosphere? I guess that's what I want to know.
I know that Kirby has called out the fan base this week and said that he needed them to show up for the Ole Miss game. But I have to say, I've heard a lot in media podcast about how it was just kind of a lackluster atmosphere. I did not feel that way. The fan base was really up for it. I was there for the dog walk. I tried to do a little dog walk live feed for you guys. Um, Everybody was pumped. The band was pumped. The guys coming into the field were fired up. From there, it just the fan base was lively, and from where I was sitting, everybody was fired up. Of course, I was up in the upper deck, in the 600 section, uh, and the fan base was fired up. There's only a few Missouri fans around. Um, we got up there and the guys come out and it was loud, and I did not realize this till after Daddy and I were headed home. We went to Hardee's and got us a burger, and there was a guy there who saw my jersey and asked who we played, and he asked me that 3 times. I could not hear him at all. My ears were going wall 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 wall, and I looked at Daddy and I said, I can't hear anything. And it made me realize of how loud it really was in the stands there. And some guys at work commented about how loud it was on TV. Um, you know, but the guys came out to play, and Missouri, I give it to them. They hit us in the mouth, and they kept hitting us in the mouth. But the atmosphere, you never felt like you were out of the game or Georgia was out of the game. It always felt like there was going to be an answer. Um, and I think you alluded to halftime. There was some booze near the halftime, and I think that was because they just decided to go to half and just let the time run out. And the fans were hoping for a drive to get some more points on the board. But these guys came, they played hard. There was some deficiencies uh, on the defensive side of the ball that I saw. But before the end of the game, Kirby made adjustments, moved some people around. Um, Everett was a big part of that, and I think we were talking about that before our cast started. That he was a big deficiency. He kept getting burned, and they were lighting him up. And I think his problem is he will not turn and look at the ball when it's in the air. He will not read his receiver to know when the ball is in the air. And even Daddy was saying, he's like, this guy will not turn around. He will not turn around and look at the ball. And I think they hit him with one, maybe two PIs. Um, if I'm not right, was it two, Brian?
That was one at least.
I'm thinking it was two they hit him
Maybe.
with. But that was a big part of our defensive woes. I was really, really shocked of how many times they got to Beck and how many times he was rushed. But I told y'all that those defensive ends were serious, and I warned y'all of that before the game started. And in our last show last week, those defensive ends got to Beck. They made him rush the pass. It was hard for him to see the entire field. A lot of times he didn't have time to scan the field, and he missed some big time throws because of that. And there was times that he had time to scan the field, but he was so um, rushed in his mind. His mindset was so rushed that he didn't scan the entire field.
He did not look comfortable, that's for sure.
No, he was not comfortable at all. But these guys, they in the end, when you look at the grand scheme of how the game went, they played as a championship caliber team, even though the struggles were there, because part of being a championship team is you can rise above those struggles and find a way to win the game. And that's what these guys did. And I don't know if I'm going to steal something from Matt here, but Matt made a point earlier in our text this week that these guys had 2 weeks to prepare for us, and we still beat them. And I thought that was a huge point that Matt made earlier in the week. And when you got 2 weeks to prepare for a team, you expect to come out with a win, and they did not. And Georgia found a way to beat them.
Yep, totally agree. So, Matt, I want to hear from you, man. But I just realized I didn't play the Missouri highlight footage, so let me run that, and then you jump right in, okay?
Attack! All game between the hedges. 4-quarter game. Let's go.
A gorgeous Georgia Bulldogs afternoon in Athens today, but today's contest is expected to be anything but mild, and the ingredients are here for a classic 3.5-hour Pier 6 brawl. Georgia and Missouri between the hedges in Athens. Let's get it on.
We walk out these doors and we enter the field. There's 93,000 people there. Watch y'all play. Be grateful for the opportunity to be a part of this and have an opportunity to play in a game like this. Never lose that.
Coming on the road in a really tough environment. I think Missouri made a statement here.
Get the crowd into it. All right, that's our advantage. All right, playing between the hedges is our advantage.
If you're in this room, you are excited to play for Georgia.
Long throw caught by Rara. Pressure from the edge, and he'll go down. And the kick is good. The Dogs score first. I think, touchdown. They can strike fast right out of the gates.
Crowd has been up all game. Man, is it loud in here.
Noise in the east end zone. In the end zone. Touchdown, love it.
We got 4 quarters. They get the ball first. Okay, we seize momentum on defense by turnovers, getting the crowd into the game, playing with great effort. Touch them, play them, aggressive, fast.
What we're supposed to do? Bull said we got to strike. That's what it is. The Georgia defense is supposed to strike.
This defense is known for relentless pursuit.
Trust and believe in your brother. Everybody got me? This is what it's about, guys. This team is controlled by the leaders in this room. I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe in you.
Cooking, we get him at the 25. Just ran right through Tyson Smith. Good sack, and he twist-tied him at the end of it. McConkey made a guy miss badly. Slide in motion to the left, gives it to Milton. He's got smooth sailing right into the end zone. Touchdown!
Next play.
To Cook. He throws and batted away. Broken up. Humphrey in coverage. Will deep ball. There it is. McConkey reaches up high. Right on cue. Carson Beck surveys. Flops it over the middle. And touchdown. Touchdown. No.
Del Denver.
Close the game out. Be a finisher. Be a finisher.
We intercepted. Stackhouse. Stackhouse. Foot in. It's intercepted. That may be all she wrote.
Great video there. Great video. Matt, let me hear your thoughts, my friend.
So I would definitely say there are not a lot. There are a few negatives and a few positives come from that game, like there usually are. We learned that we are continuing to struggle with the stretch run defense. They did that on us all game long, and their running back looked like a world beater. He looked like an NFL running back because they just did the same play. They took a play out of the Auburn game and still just continue to do it because we just can't stop it for some reason. I'm not sure if it's the ability to get in the backfield with our defensive linemen, or if it's the ability of our middle linebackers who just can't get on the outside as quick. I don't know what it is. Some of our better defensive commentators on the show can help us out with that piece. Like I know, with maybe Bill Crow can help us out with some of what we can help to do to fix that out. But like I said, Ever didn't have his best game. Even Beck didn't have his best game. But at the same time, the positives are, even with those teams, the guys not having their best games, we still won the game by 9. We are learning that our kicker has come out of his whatever that fog was, and he is showing that under pressure, big stage, he can do it, which is incredible. We're going to need him. Just simple as that. We are learning that the defensive line guys played much better. Maybe we didn't get a bunch of sacks and a bunch of pressure, but those guys were getting in the backfield when they needed to. They applied pressure. We are seeing Walker become our edge rushing champion. That guy is coming out of the woodwork, taking a complete opportunity that he has to show how good he is with his speed that he has. He is a world burner. If we can get Williams back to his full form since his sickness, those two guys are going to wreak havoc in the backfield of some of these quarterbacks coming up. But I mean, we saw a lot of good things, on this team. Humphrey, oh my gosh, the guy's playing great. We need him to. So, we're not going to have guys play great games every game. But if we can have guys can pick up the slack when other guys are not playing at their best, we'll be just fine. And ultimately, I think like Kevin alluded to, we just need to win. Just need to win. I don't care if it's by 9 points or 1 point. 1 point's all you need to win. Who cares if we're number 2 or number 4? Doesn't matter. One win, we keep winning. That's all that matters. So a lot of good things are there to be had as well. So I'm excited about this coming week.
Yep, totally agree. Hunter Ivy says, I hope Pop recovers quickly. Do you think his injury will affect the defensive play calling or the defense in general?
I don't know, Kevin. What do you think? I mean, I don't think it will. I think they put in the Williams guys, and CJ Allen's been playing a lot this year already. I know the guys on the commentators were like, Walker's going to take care of that spot. Walker's he's a outside linebacker, inside linebacker. The guy was kind of confused, but I think the Williams guys. I call them Williams guys because both of them last name is Wilson. So those guys and CJ Allen are really going to help Munden keep that buckle down. Is it the same experience, same leadership? No. So Munden's going to step up and be that play caller in the backfield, or in that secondary force. But I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was going to say with Pop, you get that run. He's more a run prevent inside middle linebacker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Than he is more of anything else. I think overall this year, I've been kind of a little disappointed with it because he has the experience, right? But his eye discipline has not been as good this year, and he's been caught up in the fold, and on some of the quarterback run issues. And so anyhow, we'll see how CJ Allen does. He looked good to me in the second half of that game. Of course, you're coming in fresh and everybody else is wore out. Yeah. So but we will see. We will see.
I don't understand how we've forgotten how to tackle running backs' legs. It seemed like every time we went to tackle the running back, it was all upper body, shoulders, trying to make some highlight reel.
And they're shedding it.
Just, tackle his knees and ankles. He can't run without his legs. What are we doing? And I didn't get it. I mean, how many times did he break tackles to get yardage that he never should have had in the first place? It was kind of discouraging, but it is what it is.
Hunter Ivy says, I was rooting for a big man TD when Stackhouse got that interception. Yeah, rumbling, bumbling, stumbling, big man going downfield, running out of steam. You saw him go really, really fast, and then it was
Yeah, I don't know if you read his lips at the end of that. He turned to his guys when he got to the sideline. He says, "I was wore out."
Let's see. Madison says Bowers projected to return next game from injury. What are you guys hearing on that?
Matt and I was discussing this before the show started, and him and I are in agreement. I think if he comes back, it's going to be more of a decoy, kind of like what they did with McConkey. To have, you got to put somebody on him because you respect him.
Mm-hmm.
So that takes somebody focused solely on him, maybe two players focused solely on him. So I gotta be honest with you. My concern is the weather this weekend.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's going to turn this into a running game.
Yeah. Yep. And they've got a stable of running backs at Ole Miss that we'll get into. So here's the eye opener piece for me this week. It was the press interview with Rosamie Jacksaint, and I thought I pulled it out and let you guys hear it.
Yeah, obviously, I know you can't say too much on this, but just how is Brock doing at practice, Brock Bowers, and sort of looking as he tries to get healthy and get back on the field for you guys?
Brock been looking good. I've been watching him. It seems like he's progressing fast. I'm still don't know anything about him. So I just know what he's been running. He's been hitting. I've heard he hit like some high speed, 19, 20, something like that, and yeah, he's progressing. He's looking to get back. We're very excited for him to get back in the field because we definitely miss him on the field. So yeah, we just hoping that we just waiting.
At the end there, you could see him going, "Oops, I think I let something slip. I shouldn't have said." Because then he goes, "We're just waiting. If he's running 20 miles an hour, he's a lot better off than what everybody thinks he is. He is a lot better off than everybody thinks he is." And so I heard a stat today that Tua Tagovailoa played in that SEC championship 28 days after his tightrope surgery. If Brock Bowers plays this Saturday, it'd be 27 days since his tightrope surgery. So that's pretty fast. Pretty fast. Let's catch a couple comments here, guys. Brian Rouse, he says, "I'm optimistic about his return." Grady Darcy says, "Half speed if he's hitting 19 to 20.
No doubt.
Hunter Ivy says, "Let Bauer sit until he's 100% healthy. Would love to have him back. Yes, but no sense in rushing him back. No sense in rushing him back when you have two offensive weapons to win all the games we have left."
I agree with that. Do you? I was going to say that I think Kirby, if you look at his track record, he doesn't bring back people before they're ready or players before they're ready. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, he's not going to put somebody on the field. I mean, Pickens was ready, but he didn't play him. And even in the SEC championship, when Pickens played, he said, "Haley, you're not going to get a lot of reps, but I need you to be a team player here and do your job when you're called on." And so, yeah. So here's the deal. This is Brock Bowers' last home game. Brock Bowers wants to play in this game. Brock Bowers is going to do everything he can. Captain Bowers will be on that field in some capacity. Decoy, whatever you may call it, but Captain Bowers will be back. He will be fully dressed, and he will make his presence in that last home game because he wants to be there. That's just who he is.
Yeah.
And you hear that from the players. You hear that from the coaches. He's doing everything he can to be back in the game. Let's see. Todd Wilson says, "Let's not rush his recovery. We'll need him in the SEC championship, but not before if he's not ready." Yeah. I agree. I mean, I totally agree. But, I mean, if you're out running those type of speed, and he's, we saw him at the Florida game without a brace. I mean, he's walking around perfectly normal without a scooter, without crutches. And if you're able to do that, you're a lot further along than what people are giving you credit for. Plus, that tightrope surgery, what it does is it makes your ankle better than what it was prior to your injury. I know people don't really understand that, but from everything that I've read, you'll never have a high ankle sprain again. It's crazy. Paul Petrisco says, interesting. Stackhouse said he was doing 18 miles an hour after the interception. Maybe that's a reference to Brower's doing 20.
Digger was doing maybe 12.
Well,
The whole place.
Take the one off.
All right, good deal, good deal. Well, guys, we have got to move this thing along, and we are at a point now. We got to move this thing into our portion of Paul's calls. So let's jump into that thing. What do you say? All right. Our first Paul's calls video. Let's roll this thing.
Our first play this week, the offense faces 4th and 1, and their formation looks as if they're going to potentially try the quarterback sneak with a push from behind. Now, in 2013, the rule was changed to allow teammates to push the ball carrier to assist in forward progress, and it was no longer considered a foul for assisting or helping the runner with this push. But the offense here, they're going to be creative. The quarterback takes the snap. The defense reacts to the potential sneak, but the quarterback hands the ball back through his legs to running back number 5, and he's going to take off for a first down and a big gain. This handing is legal and a creative alternative to the quarterback sneak with a push. Now, behind the line, a back can hand the ball in almost any way, forward or backward, to another back. Remember that the planned loose ball play, a lot of people call the fumble rooski, where the player puts the ball on the ground near the snapper and another offensive player recovers and advances. That is not legal, but this is a legal handoff and a nice gain for the offense. Staying with our player safety theme, play 3, we're snapping at the 25-yard line, and we're going to get a throw by our quarterback downfield, and it's going to be intercepted by number 1 of the defense, and he's going to return it back to just inside the original line of scrimmage where we see 2 flags are on the turf, one from our referee and one from our center judge. Now, as we go back and take a look at the action on the quarterback, we see the defender, he plays through his block, and then he's going to go low and hit the quarterback with force in the knee area, a very, very dangerous hit. Now, the rule states that it is roughing the passer if the defender hits an opponent who's in a passing posture in the knee area below. And it's important to note, it doesn't have to be at the knee or below. It says in the knee area. So this is a correct call for roughing the passer. Now, the defender is allowed to wrap up below the knees, or if he's blocked into the quarterback, it's not a foul. But here, a correct call for roughing the passer as we have forcible contact into the knee area below of a player in a passing posture.
Yeah, that's a terrible hit to take. All right, 2 more here, guys.
Play 4, the offense has 3rd and 8, and they run a crossing route over the middle, and the 2 receivers do a nice job. They avoid contact with the defense, so all is legal on this crossing route. And we're going to see 87, he makes the catch right at the line to gain, turns upfield, and then the ball is going to be punched out by the defense. So it's a fumble at the 45-yard line, but the ball is going to go forward about 8 yards and then out of bounds. Now, what's the rule on this? So by rule, any forward fumble that goes out of bounds is brought back to the spot of the fumble, and it belongs to the fumbling team at that spot. And the game clock will start on the referee's ready for play signal. If the fumble is backwards and goes out of bounds, then the ball belongs to the fumbling team at the out of bounds spot, and the game clock will start again on the referee's ready for play signal unless we're inside of 2 minutes and a half, and then the game clock will start on the snap. But here the ball is brought back to the spot of the fumble. That spot is beyond the line to gain, so it's 1st and 10 for the offense.
All right, one last video, and then we'll jump into the
Our last play this week, the offense has 2nd and 10, and they have trips or 3 receivers to the top side of the formation and 1 receiver to the bottom of the formation. Now, we're going to get a crossing route here, and we're going to see the middle receiver from the top of the formation. He's going to cross with number 19 from the bottom, and 19 is going to make the catch, turn upfield for a big gain on the play. Now, the back judge, whose key is the middle receiver in trips, has a flag down for offensive pass interference. And if we go back and look at the replay, we see that the middle receiver, number 16, he releases back to the middle of the field, and he's going to pick off the defender in coverage with contact, and it frees up 19 for the catch. Now, this action by number 16 is absolutely offensive pass interference. But as the crew discusses the play, the back judge is going to pick up his flag for offensive pass interference because as we go back and look, we see that the pass did not cross the neutral zone. It was caught behind the line. So when it's caught behind the line, we can have no foul for offensive pass interference. And really, if a pass doesn't cross the neutral zone, there can be no foul for pass interference, either offense or defense. This is good communication within the crew, as the back judge has no perception on where the ball is caught. So he puts the marker on the ground, and the line judge, whose responsibility is to know where the ball is caught, informs the back judge that the pass did not cross the line, so the back judge picks up the marker. This is good work by the crew and good communications.
Learn something new every day here on the Middle Georgia Dog Pound Live, don't we? Yep. I never knew that picking a player behind the line of scrimmage like that with the ball thrown behind the line of scrimmage was illegal offensive interference.
That's pretty wild.
Yep, pretty wild. So thanks to our retired SEC official, Paul Patrisco, for sharing those with us. Always good information every week, and see something new every time we're on here. And in Matt's instance, he actually got to see one of the previous calls live in that Florida game, so that was pretty cool. All right, guys. Well, we're at that point now. We're going to jump into that Ole Miss preview, and we're going to jump this thing off right by showing the Ole Miss game trailer.
When we walk out these doors and we enter the field, there's 93,000 people there to watch y'all play. Be grateful for the opportunity to be a part of this. And to have an opportunity to play in a game like this. Never lose that.
Every Monday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, every Thursday, every Friday, every Saturday. That's how we play with discipline.
Discipline is doing what you're supposed to do, when you're supposed to do it, the way it's supposed to be done.
Dominate with discipline. That's the thing. And you got an opportunity to go out there and rip the team and rep this family, energy, enthusiasm, the whole day.
Discipline doesn't talk. Discipline is seen.
Let's go. Let's go. Cannot wait. Cannot wait. It's going to be a great game. Ole Miss is going to bring us a fight, and we know it. College Game Day is going to be on campus, broadcasting from the quad. We are so excited. And right before the show went live, we got the notice of who the guest picker is going to be on College Game Day. So you're hearing it here first.
Nolan Smith here, outside linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not a celebrity, but I will be your guest picker at 11:30 on Saturday. And you know who I'm rooting for. Come watch me talk trash on the stage, and I will be back in Athens for the first time in a long time. So go Dogs, and the Philly Dogs coming at you. Wide left, you see it.
Go. I love that guy, man.
Yes.
Love that guy. Cannot be more excited about a guest picker, I guarantee you.
Oh, and he's going to have a comeback for everything they say, too, because that joker is sharp as a tack.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Well, guys, you know that the Ole Miss Rebels, some people still refer to Ole Miss as the Rebels. Some people refer them as the Bears. and then some people refer to them as the baby sharks. I mean the land sharks. Lane Kiffin is the head coach. Lane has made his way around the college football landscape. Most recently at Florida Atlantic, and you guys know before that he was at Alabama as the OC when Kirby was there as the defensive coordinator. So I think this may be one of the first times that two former Saban assistants have come up head to head in a game, and so this is going to be an interesting one. Well, Matt, it is that time, my friend. Can you bring us up to speed on what offensive players that we need to be keeping an eye on for this game?
All right, let's do this. So as we talk about the totality of the offense, let's just kind of go to some of their numbers real quick before we get into the players. The passing offense, they're number 14 in the country. They average about 297 yards a game, which is almost 300 yards a game, which is really actually pretty good, especially coming out of the SEC when we have really good defenses in the SEC. So almost 300 yards a game is pretty good. Their rushing offense is number 34 in the country. It's about 181 yards a game, which is still pretty stellar. Overall, it's a really good defense. Offense. Total offense with just yards, they're averaging almost 500 yards a game. 478 yards a game is their average, which puts them at number 12 in the country. Now, total scoring offense, they are number 14 in the country. Total scoring offense, they average about 38.8 points a game, almost 39 points a game. That is really good. That's really strong. I don't care who you're playing. That's a really strong offense that is coming to Athens. It's going to have to deal with our defense. So we get into the players. Let's start with the top leader, the quarterback here. We know Dart. He's a transfer from USC. He is number 19 in the country in passing. He's got 2,400 yards. He's got 16 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. He's also rushed for 334 yards with 7 touchdowns. So that's putting him, well over 23 touchdowns total just for himself alone. But he's also been sacked 20 times this year. So with that running ability, he sometimes puts himself in position to get sacked. So we have opportunities there with our linebackers and our defensive linemen getting in there, put some pressure on him to really to build that stack number even higher. I think if we can get to him 3 or 4 times, we would really, really put them behind the sticks big time. Would be a big deal for us. Once again, still a solid guy. He's been around for a little bit. Been in this system for 2 years. So he'll be definitely as a weapon for them and a good quarterback. So we get into the running backs. We all know Junkins here. He was a great freshman last year, one of the best freshman running backs period in the season last year. He had 1,200 yards plus rushing as a freshman. This year he's not showing as good as numbers, but once again, that's some of the passing offenses picked up a little bit than it did last year. So he's got almost 800 yards so far this year, 793. He's got 12 touchdowns though. So his guys getting in when they're getting the red zone, they're getting in within that 10-yard line. He's getting the ball, and he's getting the ball in the end zone for them. He's averaging a little bit less than 5 yards a carry at 4.7 yards a carry. He also has 119 receiving yards as well. He has had 4 100-yard rushing games this year. So solid running back. If we tackle like we did last week, he will have plenty of success. The point with this guy is we cannot miss tackles. We have to tackle him solid, get him to the ground. We cannot allow him to get yards after contact. The next running back to have is Bentley. He's still solid, not as many yards, but he's not getting as many attempts as well. 388 yards, 3 touchdowns, but he's averaging 5.8 yards, almost 6 yards a carry. So he's coming in, he's getting in solid yards for them. He's also had receiving yards about 80 yards and 1 touchdown as well. So these guys are both weapons for them in the run game and the pass game. So we need to make sure we keep always eyes on these guys, and we got to get them to the ground. Can't get them into space. Can't allow them to break tackles. It needs to be a full-fledged tackling clinic out there for them on on Saturday. As we get to the wide receivers, this is where these guys thrive. Being real honest, their best receiver is up here is Harris. He's got 749 yards, 7 touchdowns. He's averaging almost 20 yards a catch. So it's 19.7 yards. He's got 3 100-yard games. He's also got 1 200-yard plus game. So this guy is good. He's right now in the yardage stamp. He is 29 in the country in total yards. So he's up there with some of the best receivers in the entire country. These guys are good. I watched them play last week. They can make one-handed catches like it's nobody's business. These guys, the ball's in the area, they're in the air, they're going to try to get up and get it. So they really depend on 50-50 balls. So we have to really defense has to be on top of this, has to have good coverage, and almost like what Kevin was talking about earlier. Our guys got to get their head around and get their eyes on the ball and just can't have their back to the ball. The next one we have is Watkins, 627 yards, 3 touchdowns, averaging 14.3 yards a carry. He's also had 3 100-yard games as well. So, and then the last guy is Wade. Before I get to my last point, is Wade, 602 yards, 3 touchdowns, averaging 15.1 yard a catch. He's also had 2 100-yard games this year. So the thing is, if we get one of these guys isolated, the other 2 are just going to beat us too. So we have to have a complete all-around game when it comes to covering these guys and getting some pressure on that quarterback, not allow him the ability to get these guys the ball in space or get the guys the ball in general. We need to make that backfield havoc for him so these guys can't get their hands on the ball. Other than that, that's what I have. I'll give it over to Kevin.
Hey, thanks so much, Matt. It was a lot of good information. Dad had one question. He said, take away the Mercer game. How did they fare? Did they run? And they did run that score up in the Mercer game. And
so, yeah, I watched them. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So I watched them play last week because they played before Georgia, and I watched them play against Texas A&M, which we know is a solid defense. They went on the road into Oxford and still played fairly well. They can score some points. Those guys were, like I said, I'm not joking. These guys were making Odell Beckham catches all game long. So they may not have the opportunity this weekend, but you put that ball in the area. They like these 50-50 balls on the sideline going up and making plays. These guys can do it. They're fast. They have great hands. They got good size. So we have to have. I mean, no, I don't care how good you are at quarterback. You have to have the pressure on the quarterback to take away that time back there to throw the ball around. So I think if we watch out for the slant patterns and those deep balls, and we can put some pressure on the quarterback, we should be just fine. Maybe even produce some turnovers in our favor.
Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it. All right, Kevin, you are up, my friend.
Yeah, to get into this defense, to give you a little bit of numbers, the Ole Miss defense is 59th overall in college football. They are allowing about 365 yards per game. UGA is number 6 on the offensive side, gaining about 493 yards per game. I always like to highlight the differences of what we're going to be facing versus what we have. What we faced last week in a Missouri defense, they were ranked 41st overall. And so we faced those guys pretty well and handled them, I think, fairly well considering they had 2 weeks to prepare. Missouri's coming in and they into this game after a big game against Texas A&M, and they're going to be kind of beat up and beat down. So hopefully that will go in our favor. These players that we're going to be facing on the defensive side and obviously on the offensive side by what Matt just showed, these guys have a lot of experience. We're going to be seeing a lot of senior and junior players. And so they are well versed in college football. They've got a lot of experience. So these guys are going to be ready. They've seen it all. They've done it all in college football. So firstly, I want to highlight some their safeties. Trey Washington. He is a junior out of Alabama. He's got he leads the team in tackles with 59 total tackles, 29 solo. He is second on the team in interceptions with 2, and he has played in all 3 seasons with Ole Miss. So he's a well-experienced safety. He's been in Lane Kiffin's program his entire college career. He's going to be ready for the Dogs and whatever they have to throw at us. The second safety I want to highlight is John Sanders Jr. He is third in tackles on the team. It's 48 total tackles overall, 27 solo. He leads the team in interceptions with 3 total interceptions. He is a transfer from Miami, Ohio. He played 23 games for that school, and he racked up 52 total tackles and 2 interceptions with a forced fumble in the 22 season itself. So these guys have seen it all in the safety position. They're going to be ready for whatever the Dogs can throw at us down the field. Secondly, we move up to the linebacker spot. Ashante Sistrunk. He is a 5th-year senior out of Mississippi. He is second on the team in tackles with 49 total, 23 solo. He's 6th on the team in sacks with 2.5 sacks and 1 interception. He's played in every game since he was a freshman, and in the he's been on the special team side of the ball. He's been in a backup role as linebacker. So he's pretty much played in every facet that the team has asked him to play. So he is obviously a team player. In the 22 season, he racked up 72 total tackles overall. And the second linebacker I want to highlight is Jeremy John Baptiste. He is also a 5th-year linebacker out of Florida. He is 4th in tackles on the team with 33 total and 17 solo with a half sack. He is a transfer from UCF, and while he was at UCF, he played in 35 games overall. So these are some well-experienced, high-motor linebackers that are going to be getting after the quarterback, going to be hard to run the ball, which is going to be difficult with the weather that we're going to be facing, knowing this is going to be a run game type of game. Next, I want to highlight on the defensive line is Cedric Johnson. He's a senior defensive end out of Alabama. He's 7th overall on the team in tackles with 33 total and 16 solo. He's 2nd in sacks with 4.5 sacks and 1 pass deflected. He's played on the team since he was a freshman. He's experienced defensive end. He can shed blocks and get to the QB with the best of them. This is going to be like another game like what I described last week with Missouri. These defensive ends will make it difficult for the quarterback to get a read down the field. They're going to get them in a hurry-up situation and try to get them to make a mistake. The other defensive end I want to highlight is Jared Ivey. He is also a senior. He is out of Sewanee, Georgia. If you know me, I like to pick out the guys that are out of Georgia. These are the hometown guys that want to make an impact on their hometown team. He is 8th overall on the team in tackles, 33 total tackles overall, 12 solo. He is number 1 on the team in sacks with 5.5 sacks on the year. He is a transfer from Georgia Tech. He transferred in after the 22 season, where he played for Georgia Tech in 20 games, where he racked up 32 tackles overall. And last season for Ole Miss, he played in 13 games. He had 7 starts, 37 tackles, 3.5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. So these guys are well experienced defensive players. We are not going to be facing freshmen and sophomore players. These guys have been around, they've done it, they've seen it. So not much is going to catch these guys by surprise. So we've got to just be ready to play hard, get down, dig deep, get in the trenches, and play hard-nosed Georgia football.
Yeah, totally agree. What about Hingle McCringleberry? Is he going to be playing?
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's going to miss this game.
Just kidding. Just kidding. All right, guys, we are running long, and so we have got to move this thing along. All right, it is that time of the show where we jump into the pick'ems portion, but before we do that, we've got a special request from Kirby, and I want to run that video.
We got a hell of a challenge. We got a great atmosphere. We need it to be as great an atmosphere in Sanford Stadium as it's ever been to help take care of our home field advantage that we need to have. The crowd needs to have an impact and pull in the same direction for our players. Yeah, they can have a huge impact, and we need them to. I'm counting on them.
All start, offense, multiple players, 5-yard penalty.
I get you fired up. If your wood
Yes,
ain't,
sir.
if you don't get fired up from that, your wood's wet. That's for dang sure. Well, last home game, guys. I would be remiss if I didn't mention Cedric Van Pran, guys. If you don't know, this is his 40th straight start in a Georgia uniform. That is just absolutely unbelievable. The toughness it takes to persevere and be there every single week and show up and be that leader. We're going to surely miss this guy for dang sure next year. So I saw that stat earlier today, and it just dawned on me that we didn't mention it, but 40 straight starts is just unprecedented, I think. But well, let's jump into the pick'em games here. All right, so at this point, I'm leading Mr. Matt by 1 game. He had a great showing last week. He got 4 of the 5 games right. Me and Kevin ended up with 3 and 2. So let's see how we can do this week. Our first game is Utah versus Washington. Matt, what made you pick this one, buddy?
I think it's just still the competitiveness of these games are going to be close. So a lot of these games I picked are games that I just think will be close games. And we'll see. I mean, Washington is just playing right now where they just can't separate themselves in these games that they were the earlier of the season. I think teams are figuring out their offense a little bit. So last week, who can outscore who? And this week, I think we'll see if Utah can put some points up to because they got much better defense than you have in the past. So maybe they made a chance of even upset them here, Washington. But they'll be playing at Washington, so we'll see what happens.
Grady Darcy says Washington 31, Utah 21. Yeah, I'm going to go along that lines as well. I'm taking Washington in this one. I just don't think Utah has enough offense to boat race Washington, that is for sure. What do you think, Kevin?
Yeah, I'm going to take Washington in this one. I just don't think Utah can step up and outscore that high-flying offense that Washington has. I've got Washington winning. I'm going to say 38-21.
Hunter Ivy says Washington 34-17. John Akaki says Huskies by 17, Washington 38-21. Brian Ryle says Washington 34, Utah 28. I like it. Matt, what you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think there is an opportunity here for an upset. I think if Utah can create some turnovers and get some points on the defensive side, they can do like what I forget who it was the week who kept Washington under 7 points offensively. I think this could be a lot closer game. I'm still going to go Washington. I think it's another game where they squeak out a win with some terrible coach calling on Utah's side.
All right, Missouri and Tennessee. What you think on this one, Kevin?
I think you're going first.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So
why does I was gonna say, why does Brian always make us go first, Matt? I mean,
all right.
He's not sure yet.
Here's the deal on Missouri. If Luther Burden plays, Missouri wins this game. And nobody can say whether Luther Burden is going to play or not. If he is even 90%, 85, 90%, if Luther Burden plays in this game, they win. And I still think that Missouri has a very good chance because, I mean, they are playing at home. I know that, it's not Sanford, not Neyland, but playing on the road in the SEC is tough. And Tennessee is gonna struggle. They're gonna have their hands full. Everything in me wants to take Missouri with this one, and I'm just not sure. Oh, let's see.
It's Brian not fun going first, is it?
Brian Rouse is Missouri 38.
Missouri.
Yeah,
this one's at Missouri. It's not at Tennessee.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know it's
Okay.
at Missouri. Yeah, that's what I said. Tennessee's gonna have their hands full traveling to Missouri.
Yeah.
God, I'm gonna go Missouri. It's gonna be close. I say like 3 points, maybe. I think the kicker. Let's go with the thicker kicker is the difference maker. The thicker kicker. All right. Let's see. Daddy says I want Missouri to win, but I'm picking Tennessee 31-20.
Oh, that's not what we talked about on our ride home from Athens. Come on, Daddy.
All right.
Come
Hunter
on,
Ivy says
man.
Mizzou 31-30. All right, Matt, you're up.
I'm just going to pick Missouri straight up. I just think that they're going to be able to apply a lot of pressure to that quarterback. I think Tennessee, they have to win this game to stay in the contention for the East. That's it. Ultimately, like we talked about earlier, and we don't want to be this way. We just want to win our games and not worry about any other games. But the truth is, if Missouri wins this game, we automatically win the East, even if we lose on Saturday. So Tennessee has to win this game to stay in contention. So I think that they're gonna play hard, but I think Missouri's going to win the game. I think they just got a better team. I think they're going to come off that a little angry off that loss in Athens. I think they're going to. It's a 12:00 game. They usually don't play well in 12:00 games. Missouri doesn't. But I think being at home and a little bit of respect they receive from the national media, that they think they're going to play pretty well. So I'm going to give it to them. I don't think they roll over and quit because they lost last week.
I like it. Kevin?
This is one of those games that I have to say that Mizzou is going to come out in this, as long as they don't just get their hearts broken by losing that game in Athens. They should come back home and want to kick somebody in the teeth, and unfortunately, that's going to be Tennessee. I've got Mizzou winning at 34-27 in this game.
Well, I'll be honest. Missouri was a very well coached team. I was surprised on how disciplined they were. I was surprised on how tough they were and how physical they played. So I don't see that out of the Tennessee team this year. Maybe last year, but I don't see it this year. And so I think you're right. I think that's what's going to make the difference maker. It's just a matter of how beat up is Missouri after the Georgia game. And we just don't know. We just don't know. All right, on to the next one, guys. Michigan and Penn State. This is going to be a great one. All right, I guess I'm going first. I'm going to go Michigan. I think Michigan's got the better team. I think that their offense is going to be humming on all cylinders. I know it's at Penn, right? So I think is it a 3:30 or a noon game?
Noon game.
Oh
It's
yeah,
the big noon kickoff.
Yep, give it to Michigan. Michigan's gonna run easy on this one. I don't know that I've got that number. Yeah, I did. I had that number right. It's Michigan by 4.5, but I think they're going to cover that easy. So I'm taking Michigan. John Akaki says Penn State, Happy Valley, 31-30 Wolverines didn't get a sign, aka signs from the Pope. Hunter Ivy says Penn State is due for a massive win. Penn State 34-31 cheaters. I like it. I like it. Ryan Riles says Michigan 31, Penn State 17. Grady Darcy says, give me Penn State 28-27. Wow. Daddy says, I want Penn State, but I'm picking Michigan 30-24. All right, Kevin, what you got?
I think that there is a lot of distraction going on in Michigan's back rooms, and they are going to lose this game. And I think because they are going to Penn State, and I think they're going to lose, is going to be 36-31.
All right. Matt?
This is the game. I after the Ohio State game, watching Penn State play Ohio State, I was like, Penn State's not very good. Their offense is terrible. That they just did not play very well. And then I was like, okay, Michigan's just going to beat the brakes off this team. Then I went back and reviewed, and I see Michigan's like top defense in the country, like 5 points a game, right? Oh my gosh! You go back and watch and see who they played. I think they've only played like one team has a winning record, and that team that's winning record was beating up on other teams that have losing records. So this sounds bad. I mean, I hate to bang on someone's schedule, but Michigan has played nobody. They have to play 2 games all year long, and this is one of them. So I think they'll get up for this game, and they'll and all this stuff and all the data they've collected from the sign stealing will help them win this game for sure. But I mean, I really want Penn State to beat them. I really do. I want them to go away. I want them the whole Michigan stuff, like Kevin says, to go away. I think Michigan will pull a close one out. I think it will be a last play of the game deciding kind of play. I think honestly, are they gonna do a whiteout? Do we know that's what's gonna happen?
No whiteout.
I haven't heard yet.
No whiteout.
Oh. Okay, so but I'm gonna pick Michigan, but very close. I mean, I don't know the points will be, but I think it'll be like very close. Like I'm going for a field goal, or like at the 10-yard line for a 4th and goal kind of thing.
Here's the thing about Michigan. If you guys remember at the beginning of the season, head coach was suspended, right? Or self implemented suspension. That team rallied around him. They had T-shirts made, free Harbaugh, right? Do you remember all of that? So with all of the discussions of suspensions and issues with the sign stealing, this team still loves that coach, and they're going to rally around him. That's going to be the difference maker. And let's just remember who the other coach is on the other side of the field. James Franklin is the most inept. He cannot win in big games to save his life. He can't do it. He can't do it. And we saw the Penn State defense go out there and be world beaters against Ohio State, but the offense was completely inept. So I have no confidence that Penn State can pull this one off.
Yeah.
John Akaki says his sign stealing class starts December the 5th at Georgia Technology Campus in the School of Business. So just get ready for that.
I like that.
I do too. All right, Clemson, Georgia Tech.
I'll go first.
Go. Thank you.
So I picked this game simply because it's these 2 teams who are looking to go bowling, right? These are 2 teams who are underachieving. Well, maybe Georgia Tech's probably overachieving a little bit, but 2 teams who are at like 5-4. They've beat some teams. They've lost some games they should have lost. They've won some games they probably should have won. And so I think this is going to be a close game in general. So both teams need to get that 6th win to go bowling. I think both teams will, but I think this is going to be a good close game as well. I mean, I just think Clemson's running game is too much for Georgia Tech, to be honest with you. Once again, these are two teams who just are, mean, I'm just surprised how far off Clemson has fallen, but I'm going to pick Clemson to win this game against the little brother, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Daddy says Clemson 34-20. Grady Darcy says the Nats 38. The Clemsons 35. Wow. That'd be an upset. Brian Ryle says Georgia Tech 24, Clemson 23. It's going to be a close one. John Akaki says Dabo, Dabba Doo. Dabba Doo along with Clem and Son prevail as Georgia Tech is looking ahead of Georgia. Tigers 31-24. I like it. That got me tickled. All right. Hunter Ivy says Brent Key has a knack for winning as underdogs. Give me our little brother in an upset, 28-24. I like it. Yeah, I mean, if Georgia Tech has the ball in the last possession, Haynes King, that kid's lights out, man. He will make things happen. So, definitely it's going to be a close one. I'm still going to go Clemson. I think that Dabo Swinney is under the gun here, and he has to get his team above 500 for sure. So I'm going to go Clemson. Kevin?
I'm going to go opposite of y'all. I'm taking Georgia Tech. I am taking Georgia Tech because they are 4-2 in the ACC, and Clemson is 2-4 in the ACC. And Georgia Tech has got on a run here lately. I don't know what they're feeling, but they've got it, and they feel it, and they want to make something of it. I don't think they're looking ahead to anybody. I think they're enjoying the moment. I think they're going to take it one game at a time and one win at a time. They're not looking ahead to anybody. They want to see what they can do with each game. They are actually starting to believe they can build this program into something better than what they have been. And I'm taking Georgia Tech. It's still going to be a close one, 28-24.
Like it. I like it. They do look like they know how to play football now, that's for sure.
Yes.
All right, Matt, what did you chose this one. Tell me why you picked Carolina and Vanderbilt.
I mean, Carolina is so terrible. I mean, half their team is on like injury reserve. I mean, I feel bad. I mean, I don't feel bad, but I mean, we all deal with injuries, right? But like, they are just decimated with injuries. They are struggling to beat Jacksonville State or whoever the crap they were playing last week. And we know Vanderbilt's in shambles. So, I mean, this is just gonna be one of those games where you would think, oh, South Carolina should beat them easily. Do you really know? Because both these teams are like 2-3 win teams, right? So, I mean, it's not just gonna be a great game to watch, but it's one of those games where like, oh, we got to pick it. Who do you really think is going to win this game? Who's going to show up? It's honestly think who's going to have a better defense to win this game. And so that's who I picked. I think this will be a fun game to see who you actually think will show up because I just don't know. You don't know who you're going to get with these two teams. So go ahead and pick, Brian.
I'm going Clemson. I think they got the better quarterback.
Clemson?
South Carolina. I don't know why I said Clemson. South Carolina.
Matt didn't make his pick. I'm waiting for him to make his pick. He just said he was picking this game.
Here's the thing, and here's the thing I have. So right now, me and Brian have picked the same on every game, and Kevin has picked two of the opposite games. He's going for like I'm going to catch up. I got to catch up somehow.
I am in an act of desperation right now. I mean, I've got no other option at this point. I've got to pick opposite of y'all. I'm not going to catch up. I will go ahead and pick. I will go ahead and pick. Y'all are going to think I'm crazy. I'm taking Vandy in this game. They are looking for their first conference win, and they get it against South Carolina. It's going to be a close one, but they get it.
Where's the game at?
It's at South Carolina.
Oh, man. I really don't want to pick. I really and South Carolina's favored by 14 points.
You do what you want to. I'm taking Vandy in this one, buddy.
While y'all are deciding,
let's make it fun. I'll pick Vandy too. We'll make it fun.
All right,
I'll go with Vandy, and let's see. We'll look for the upset, and we'll see how terrible South Carolina can be, and will Beamer be on the hot seat for sure.
John Akaki says the Gamecocks are a go as chickens knows November is turkey month. Chickens prevail, 35-21. No Commodores concert this weekend. Grady Darcy says Vandy 2, Cox 19, viewers 12. Daddy says, okay, that's Clemson. He's
think he's
being
messing with
funny.
you,
He
buddy.
is. That's fine. That's fine. Clemson 34, Vanderbilt 27. Hunter Ivy says, I'm going to flip a coin on this one. Vandy by 7.
Hunter Ivy said it.
There you go. It's gonna come to fruition. That is for sure. It's the way it always works. I'll never forget that game. He picked it. They would score perfectly. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. All right, here we go. Ole Miss at Georgia. Georgia is favored by 10.5 points. We were favored 14.5 points against Missouri, and we did not cover. Typically, in the season this year, every time that we're favored by a large amount, we don't cover. When we're favored by a small amount, we cover.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand it. Night game, I think the Dogs are going to be up for it. I think that a lot of it has to do with the weather, right? How much rain is going to be coming down? We know we're going to get some rain, but how much are we going to? Is it going to be a barnstorm, sideways rain, wind blowing? Because that's going to make it difficult to throw the ball. Or are we just going to have some light rain where we can still throw some intermediate passes? I just don't know. The forecast goes one way and back the other. I'm going to pick the Dogs to cover on this one. I think that we will cover. I'm going to take the Dogs by 14.
I am not going to pick them to cover, but I am definitely going to pick them to win. I think we're going to see another repeat of like it was this past weekend, where you never feel like you're out of this game, but it's going to go back and forth. I think that it's just going to be a bruiser of a fight. But I think it's going to come out where you're not going to have a high scoring game by any team. I think it's going to be like 28-21 Dogs.
I like it.
Just because of the weather.
Grady Darcy says Dogs 31, Ole Missy 23. Katy Perry is still smoking. All right, let's see. TJ Saul says 41-21 Dogs. I like it. Grady Darcy said it's going to be a slobber knocker. Daddy says UGA 35-24. Let's see. I think that's all right now. Matt, what you think, buddy?
So going back to this roster and looking at it, the 6 guys that I highlighted on the offensive side, there's 6 major contributors. 5 of those guys are transfers. And so I like to point out that when you go on the road, especially in Athens, you need a good solid team who play together and know each other and are brothers or have the brotherhood like we do. This team is a bunch of transfers. Maybe at home with a crowd behind them, they can play together. But I'm not sure they're going to be able to play together like they have coming into Athens with our brotherhood, who play for each other no matter how good or how poor they may be playing that day. Like Kevin said, you're never going to be out of the game with this team. I think the field conditions are going to be a big factor in this game. I mean, we may have things where we may have turnovers that we would never usually have because of the weather and the field conditions. So I think if we can limit turnovers and we can tackle in space and limit their ability for big plays, I think we can easily win this game and have a good lead to start out and just kind of coast the second half. Once again, teams have to play 4 quarters to beat us, not 3, not 3.5, not 59 minutes. They got to play all 60 minutes to beat us. So I'm going to go 38-27 Georgia.
I like it. TJ Saul says Ole Miss is minus 20 on a point differential in home versus away, on top of negative 200 on the road versus home. Night game in Sanford is going to be very brutal on them.
Mm-hmm.
John Akaki says Georgia 44-24. Weather no factor as the field has a tile drain system second to none.
Nice.
Brian Ryle says Dogs 26, Rebels 17. And Grady Darcy says that Kirby and Kiffin know each other very well. Yep. Totally agree. Totally agree. Well, guys, any final thoughts before we shut this thing down?
Just want to see a victory, man. That's all I care about, the victory.
Yep. Hunter Ivy says, I'm in agreement with Kevin. Dogs win, but don't cover. Dogs 24, Ole Miss 17. Bottom line, Ole Miss has to play all quarters. Yep, they got to play us for 4 quarters. For sure. Kevin, any final thoughts, buddy?
I'm still impressed with these Dogs, man. This is not the typical past 2 years that we have seen. These guys still get out there and they believe in one another and they play their hearts out for the G, man. That's their mantra. Commit to the G. That's what these guys do. If you're going to be there in Athens, man, be loud for these guys. Don't leave early. I saw some fans leaving early in the fourth quarter because they thought it was over. And it was only a 9-point lead we had in the fourth quarter, and there was still time left on the clock. It was like 5-6 minutes left on the clock. Fans are leaving. Stay in your seats. Scream for these guys, man. They play for you on Saturday.
Last home game. Last time we're going to see a lot of these guys in between the hedges, and I'm thoroughly going to enjoy it. That is for sure. Grady Darcy says, the last home game, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. Thanks, Grady. Appreciate it. TJ Saul says, Kirby's best coaching performance since the beginning. Young, hurt team with less talent than the last 2 years shows how great this staff is. Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. And John Akaki says, someone help Kevin as he's 8 games behind Brian. Hey, big brother. Big brothers.
Part of being a little brother.
That's right. That's right. I like it. I like it. All right, guys. Well, let's shut this thing down here. One more time, guys. One more time. All the way to the dub. Hey, we're going to watch these Dogs take on the Ole Miss Rebels, the Baby Sharks, and take care of business. We're going to come back home with a big win. Cannot wait to see the Dogs in the SEC Championship. Hey, I'm Brian. This is Kevin. Matt, the Four-Finger Wonder. And we're the Middle Georgia Dog Pound. Love you guys. Have a great day. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.